everybody. Let me adjust the screen here. Is that better? Let's see what we're doing now. Yeah, okay. Hello, everybody. It's Walter and Steven here, and welcome to our live. And I trust everybody can see us and hear us, so just check my monitor. Adjust the screen. Yep. It looks like it's working fine. Okay, that's great. So lots of people coming in, so let's do the roll call here. And of course, number one on our list is Russ of Quilt Meets World. And Pace is here. Philippa is here. Morning for Philippa on Monday. Oh, you're in a good mood, Philippa. That's good. You must be feeling a little better, because I know you were still feeling a little bit dragged out with that, so that's good to know. Suzanne is here. Mona is here. Faith is here. Grant is here. Derek is here. Brenda Mitchell is here. Beautiful fall day where she is at. Barb is here. Inez. Mary. Kevin's from San Antonio, Texas. I don't know, Kevin, have you been here before? I'm not sure if you have, and if this is your first time, welcome. And if you've been here before, well, welcome back. Sue is here. Melissa is here. Glenna. Betty. Patsy. So, everybody's here. Charlotte now here as well. She just popped in. So, okay, well, I'm sure there'll be a few more people joining us as we get going. So, we have a mash of things to talk about, and you know us, we'll probably go off on a tangent somewhere. So let's start with what Walter's been working on. Crickets.
Yeah, not much. I still have that shirt to finish, and I've moved on the collar, but I haven't done it. I mean, it won't take me very long to finish it. It's just, I haven't felt like doing it.
Yeah. I have to turn off that light behind us. It's annoying. Right in between us. So carry on. Keep talking. Okay. That's better. My eyes kept focusing on that. So, yeah. Well, you put together, though, the pattern and everything.
Yeah. I put together, I pasted the pattern together. I printed off a new version of the shirt pattern. And it's a PDF pattern, so you have to paste all the sheets together, which I did, and I cut it all out to get ready for Steve to cut fabric out for the shirt.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to start that this week. So what Walter is talking about, if you're not sure what we're talking about with the pattern, is that for So Chatty, we're going to start with Walter teaching me how to sew a shirt. It could be scary for me.
Actually, I think you'll do okay. It's not that difficult. It's just a little time consuming.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
and now that I've figured out how to do the sleeves easily, the sleeves will be a breeze. So that's the part I usually hate.
Yeah, but you know, I do the simplest things with the greatest complexity. So, yeah, like the eggs this morning, microwave. Oops, blow up. Wasn't supposed to do that, but it did. But that's a story for another day. So a few other people have come in. Karen is here. And Billy is here. Cynthia is here. There. Hi, everybody. She says, watching Jets game lost. Gives a thumbs. Lose it. Gives a thumbs up. Okay. Philippa says she's back from a weekend retreat. Yes, and lots of kangaroos. Yes, I remember Philippa at one point in time went live when she was at a retreat, and we got to see the kangaroos that were just outside. And you know how I love kangaroos, because why do I like kangaroos?
They're so fluffy.
They're so fluffy. Yes, of course. Tamala is here. Branka is here. So yeah, so that's what Walter's been up to. And I haven't gotten a whole lot done this week, but I am going to show you one thing that I did get done. And I have shown this in bits and pieces, but today I finished it all. It's all together now. So let me find the picture. There it is. The Whimsical Turkey Table Runner. Now, the first thing Walter's going to say is, wait, you made a mistake. 2 of the turkeys are upside down.
Yes, I said that.
They're supposed to
Yeah,
be.
I know. It's supposed to be so that people
See it from
from
either side.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
right. Yeah, it's supposed to be done. I think it's kind of cute. I like the colors in it, and this will adorn my Thanksgiving table. And I'm next project is I'm making napkins as well. I was thinking of doing some embroidery on the napkins, but I don't think I'm going to bother. Um, because I've got some really nice fall fabric, and I don't think it needs anything else for that. Plus, I don't want to spend days because I need to make 8 napkins, and so not that they take a long time, but they do if you start doing embroidery on them. So, anyways, that's what I have been up to. There we are. We're back on there. Let me get back.
Yes, you're out of luck getting an upright turkey if you're sitting on the end of the table.
Huh?
If I'm sitting at the end of the table, I don't get an upright table, upright turkey. Because I'm looking at.
Okay. Well, you can look at it later or during the meal, or you can take a picture of it or whatever. So, Wild Rose Treasures is here. Yeah, that's what I thought, Sue. It is. It's very bright, colorful, kind of fun. Joan is here. Hi, Joan. Hope all is well with you both. 76 and sunny here in Springfield, Illinois. Very fall-like weather.
It's
76 is fall weather? That's kind of...
maybe there 20. It's 23 here, so 23. What's 23 here? 23 is a little over 70, 71, 72.
Yeah, and that's still summer for us. Yeah, really, it's not that cold. But how come I'm not showing anything? I got a blank on my thing. But anyways, so Walter isn't working on anything. Getting himself psyched up to teach me how to make a shirt.
73.4.
Okay, thank you for that. That was and now that's a piece of information that I'll lodge in my brain for all
It's
time.
still
and then
shorts
probably
weather
forget.
here.
Yes, it is, and we are wearing our shorts. So we did have to wear long pants, though. Yes, well, we did wear long pants. I say we didn't have to, but we did because we went downtown Toronto. More about that shortly. But first of all, let's do some announcements. Okay, the usual sewing with Stephanie and Stephen every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Come and go as you please. Links in the show notes. Everybody knows the drill. So that is anything new. Fall retreat. People, it's creeping up on us. Next Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, I open up registration procedure. If you're not aware of how that works, you must watch the video that I put up. It explains everything, and everything I talk about in that video is in the show notes for that video as well. So if you need to cut and paste it into, your word processor or wherever you keep important notes, so you don't have to keep going back to it to refer to it. It's not that complicated. It's pretty easy. Okay. All you have to do is at 9 a.m. or thereafter, starting next Saturday, October the 5th, all you need to do is send me a short little email that says, I want to come to the retreat. This is my first name. This is my last name. Real names only, please. No aliases, no nicknames. Your real name, please. It's a security issue. And if the email address is different from the one that you have sent that request from, then I'll need that as well, because that will be the email I will use to keep in communication with you, because there'll be some things that will be sent out to you after you register. The first thing is you'll get a confirmation saying that, yes, you are on the books, you have a spot. Okay. The next thing that'll come out in the week before the actual retreat is the agenda for the day. We have 2 guest speakers, and I'll explain who those guest speakers are in that email to you. It will also have the links, the Zoom link. And now I said links. There will be links because on the Friday night we have a icebreaker cocktail party beforehand that everybody is welcome to attend that are registered for the retreat. It is a very informal kind of thing for a couple of hours, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a Zoom. It is not recorded. It's private. It's not a YouTube live, anything like that. Come, and if you've got something you would like to share with us, something you have made recently or even from the past, that will be great. You can bring it along with you then. If you know, bring a snack, bring a drink, whatever. Bring your husband, bring your wife. You can have other people with you if you wish on that night. So it's just a social evening. We might play a couple of little silly games, and if I find some silly videos to show or put up there, just to get people in the mood for the retreat kind of a thing. And also because if you're new and never been to one of my retreats before, one, there's nothing to fear. And two, I know that, you know, when you're starting on something and you aren't familiar with everybody that's there, I find the icebreaker kind of helps show you that, hey, this is for fun. We're just having a good time. And we'll talk about the procedures for that day. But that's the Friday night before. So the retreat is on October the 9th. That's the Saturday. So on October the 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the cocktail party. And when I send you out the agenda, the week before, you will have all the links for all of that stuff there as well. Yeah, so I don't think I need to tell you anything more, except do pay close attention to the blacklist. The blacklist is a real thing. I make no excuses for it. If you sign up for the retreat, I have reserved a spot for you. If you decide you're not going to show up for whatever reason and you don't notify me in it, especially in advance of that, then I will put you on the blacklist. Yes, I will. Okay? Unless it's an emergency situation, something that one cannot account for. And if you lie to me, I will find out. Okay?
Yeah, and what the blacklist is basically you won't be invited.
You won't be invited to anything again on here. No, I take it very seriously. And why? You may wonder why. Well, I always fill up very quickly. That's the other thing, okay? You cannot register until 9 o'clock or thereafter on October the 5th. If you try to register before 9 o'clock, I will ignore your registration. I'm trying to keep it as fair as possible. I only have 95 spots. Yes, I know. Sounds like a lot. Yeah, they usually fill up within a few days.
Barb claims that you said the 9th of October.
I did say that. Oh, sorry. I meant the October 19th. Thanks, Barb, for catching that for me. Yeah, it's October the 19th. And I have a funny feeling that Nightbot might be coming up with the 9th too. Just let me double check that to make sure that's not what it's going to say. Confuse everybody to death. Retreat. No, and then I just was talking about the registration. Okay, all's good. Yeah, it's October the 9th. Yeah, okay, not the 9th. So I'm basically giving you 2 weeks before to register, but I can guarantee you that it's going to fill up before the first week is out. So make sure you are committed to coming to the retreat if you sign up for it. If by chance something happens before the date of the retreat that's beyond your control, you know, illnesses happen, other emergency things do happen, you know, just drop me a line and tell me, I'm sorry, I can't make it, because I have a waiting list. And the people that are on the waiting list, I'll put in your spot. That's why the blacklist. Because I have had some people in the past who've decided, oh, I just don't like it today.
Yeah.
And that could have been a spot for somebody.
Yeah, and then they don't even that day say they can't come, right? Like, I mean, if you have an emergency like that you can't get out of that day, then you send a message and say, look, I've got this emergency, right?
Here's one that is not an emergency, so plan ahead. This I do not accept as an excuse. Oh, I had to babysit my grandchildren. Nope, that is not a legitimate excuse, okay? You tell your family, you have booked for this, you're coming to this, I am not available for babysitting, okay? So, because I do not accept that as an excuse. Sorry, I don't. I want to make this available to everybody who wants to be here. People who think, oh yeah, I'll just book for that. And you know what it is too? There's an attitude involved with that. Because I'm not charging any money for this. It's absolutely free. People think, oh, well, it's okay. if I don't feel like it that day or something, get a better offer, then I won't show up. No one's out of any money. I'm not out of any money or anything like that. No, but you've tied up a spot that could have been for somebody else. And I can't, at the last minute, I can't stick somebody in there. So yeah, I'm very serious about the blacklist. And those of you that have been on other retreats with me before, someone's, you know all about that. So I'm just saying, so be serious about it, okay? All right, so a few people have come in. I think M's here. Hi, M, and Gail. Jeannie's here. Hi, Jeannie. And Andy is here too. Great. And I think Pamela is here. So a few more have joined us. Okay, so that's the retreat. There'll be more reminders about everything as we get closer to the important dates for all of that. Okay, so this week on Chatty, we did everything about thread. And I thought it was, and it was
I thought we did it about feet.
Sorry, we did it about feet. How come I put thread in here? I'm old. I'm senile. What do you want?
No, one foot we didn't cover was the walking foot, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't because we have our machines have a built-in walking foot, and it's kind of hard to explain to people that may not have genomes.
Yeah, we have what's called the AccuFeet system on the genomes, and it's a very glorified walking foot. So we didn't talk about the walking feet because it depends on your machine. Like Bernina has their own priority walking foot too, and things like that. So we didn't talk about walking feet at all, but we talked about everything else on there, and boy, did we get lost. Holy crap, who would have thought that there could be so much confusion when it comes to feet? I mean, I think the bottom line is that most of us only use about a couple of feet on any regular basis. So unless you are somebody who is designing clothing.
Yeah, not only that, it's more like feet. Different feet are made for different purposes, and then if you're sewing those purposes, you don't need those feet.
Yeah. So anyways, we did that. So our next series coming up, we're going to get into the one about I make a shirt, and Walter's going to teach me. Walter's going to make a shirt at the same time as well. So I have no idea what this is going to look like.
The reason I decided to do a shirt at the same time is then I can maybe show Steve exactly what I want him to do for that particular function, rather than doing part of it for him and have him finish it.
I think there's an ulterior motive. Another one. He just wants to see how badly I'll screw up so he can say, see, no, this is how you do it, la, la, la. I never have that problem.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. That's what I mean. There's going to be bloodletting during this, I am sure. Mostly mine. Could be a little screaming and shouting. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see how this works out. Hopefully I will not sew a sleeve to a collar. Could happen. Who knows?
How about a long sleeve? Let's go one step at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start with short sleeves and then maybe go to long sleeves. Long sleeve, the cuff at the bottom of the sleeve is a pain. And also you have to sew up the length, top stitch up the length of the arm. And that can be difficult. So
yeah, so we'll take it one step at a time. We'll start with a short sleeve shirt. And if that goes over well on that, then who knows? Down the road, maybe we'll get more elaborate with it all. But baby steps. Gail's here. Hi, Gail. And Gloria's here. Julie is here. Suzanne, Pamela, and let's see. Gail says, now I know what the screw that is at the back of my foot is for and how to use it. Thanks.
that's for that one, the hump jumper.
Oh, the hump jumper. Yeah, the hump jumper. Yeah. They should have a different name for that. It sounds almost rude. Hump jumper. Dubravka is here. Thank you, Dubravka, about the table runner. Okay, so we had a busy weekend starting on Friday. We did the shop hop. Now, we did this shop hop last year. It's the Country Roads shop hop. And there are 4 stores involved, and they all are north of us. In fact, the one that's most furthest north of us is about an hour's drive to get there. We did not do all 4 of the shops. We only did 3 of them. We skipped over one because, to be honest, their prices aren't good and they have old lady fabrics. But it's a really nice shop, and like physically the way it's laid out.
Yeah, it is, but we decided not to go that one.
Yeah, we decided not to go to that one. We went up to the one that is like a little shack kind of a thing, Quilter's Inn. And you've heard us talk about it before. We talked about all 4 of these last year when we went. Quilter's Inn is good for, she has a fairly good selection of wide back fabrics at, well, they're various prices, but you can get some. I think I got 3 meters of one I really like, $20 a meter. So that's unheard of at most of these places. Like if you pick that up at, say, Kawartha Quilting, that would have been a minimum probably of $33 a meter. And their backing fabric, all very nice, because they deal really in premium fabrics that you might not get in other places in our area. But it's still expensive. I've seen backing fabric for as much as $44 a meter there.
Yeah, and it gets pretty pricey.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Especially if you get 3 meters.
Well, yeah, and I need 3 meters for any quilt I do. So, you do the math kind of deal. So she has some good prices. She talked my ear off. She's from the western provinces, and she was telling me about how it was a lot cheaper to go to a sewing retreat out west, even with the flight costs to get there, than it is to go to one here in Ontario. Yeah, well, she has a sister that lives wherever she goes.
Yeah, so she has accommodation.
Yeah, and she doesn't have to worry about buying food. I don't even think they have food at it. I don't know. So it's like $150. Well, yeah, some of the ones here in Ontario are very, very pricey.
But they usually include food and accommodation,
and they, depending on where they're holding it,
depends on how you look at it. Is it really more expensive to go? I mean, is it really cheaper? But you've got built-in accommodation if you go.
Well, she still has the flight too. I mean,
yeah,
flights
and well, unless she flies flare.
Well, maybe I don't know what she does, but anyway, she's a really nice lady. And her fabric selection it's not bad. If you like novelty fabrics, she has a lot of those. And if you like flannel, she's got an extensive collection of flannel.
I didn't really see anything that I'm always on the lookout at stuff that sort of grabs my attention for a shirt. There wasn't anything there that grabbed my attention.
No. Well,
it was an awful lot of like baby type stuff.
Yeah, they had a lot of that. But she was busy. There was a bunch of ladies in there for the shop hop. And I did buy some other fabric from her too while I was there, because I want to make another Quilts of Valor. So I stocked up on the O Canada line of fabrics from Northcott, because those are kind of the official fabrics for Quilts of Valor in Canada. You can make them out of other things too. But I had this idea for a new one, and I found a pattern that I think I can adapt to this. So I was stocking up on that, and I was looking for autumn fabric, thinking of these napkins I'm going to make for Thanksgiving. And she really didn't have. I think there was only one thing she had that was autumn. There was nothing. She had Christmas, but a lot of her stuff is kind of older lines of fabric. So, but she's great for wide back, that's for sure. Then we went, and by the way, I'm going to show you what I bought at all these. Not today. I'm going to show them on Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. Then we went down to Appleseed Quilt Works, which is in Lindsay. We've been there before. Very nice shop. Their selection of fabrics is not bad. They have a lot of batiks. Price-wise, not great, not horrible, but it's at the upper end of the scale for that. She
also has a lot of fabric that other stores don't carry. And it tends to be the more expensive lines. Yeah. And that's why her prices are a little high.
Yeah. It's premium stuff that she's got there. But now all of the shops for the shop hop, we're giving you 15% off any fabric off the bolt. It wasn't on pre-cuts or things like that, but you got 15% off too. So I saw some stuff. They have a room in the back where they have a big rack with it's the ends of lines of fabrics and things, end of bolts, and 50% off. So I bought a bunch there that I've already have, but I like the line. In fact, I originally had bought the line when I
That
was there
was
before.
a Figo line.
Yeah, it's a Figo line. It's Liz something. Can't think of her name.
Yeah, you had other ones, and actually, I like that. It's nice
Yeah.
looking fabric for.
In fact, that's what right over my shoulder there. That banner. That's the fabric I'm talking about because that's what I made that banner with was line of fabric. But I got some more because I figured 50% off. So basically, I think there was 4 different colors of this, and I just said to the girl that was cutting fabric, I says, "I'll take whatever's on the bolt. Just give me the whole thing out of it." And so yeah, that was it. We had lunch in Lindsay as well. We went to well, first of all, there was this coffee shop that had a fairly good recommendation. They had sandwiches and stuff, but when we walked in, it was really tiny, and there were 2 tables with nobody sitting at them, but they had reserve signs on them. So we didn't go there. We ended up going to a Greek restaurant, and actually the food was pretty good in there.
Yeah.
But the bees, the hornets right now are really bad. I mean, it's that time of the year, they're getting stupid. And we were sitting out on their little patio, and we had to go inside because we were being swarmed by these things.
Yeah.
As soon as food comes out, they were there. So, but the food was good. We had, what did we have? We had a wrap, chicken.
Chicken avocado wrap.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was a little bit bland.
And say that with a smile when you use that word.
And it came with a Greek salad. So
Yeah.
actually, we had ordered it with a Greek salad,
Yeah.
which was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was quite good. And then we made our way down to Quilter Quilting. And I bought things there. I always do. I basically bought some blenders.
Yeah, like at the Lindsay store, I bought some shirt fabric, and then I also bought some shirt fabric at Quilter Quilting as well.
The lady that runs that store, she's a retired school teacher, the one that Appleseed in Lindsay.
In Lindsay,
She's a little bit pushy on fabrics. Like, she says, "Oh, I know you like ombre. Did you see the ombre? Did you get that? Is it okay?" Yeah, I've had lots of ombre. I'm done with ombre. You know, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, I know. It seems like when you when they know that you go in there and you spend a reasonable amount of money, that suddenly all of a sudden they start pushing stuff on you, and I get kind of annoyed by that.
Yeah, I get annoyed with that, and I have found that Shirley's kind of gone that route too.
Yeah,
Every time we go in there, and you know, then that's at our local quilt store down here. I mean, we love Shirley, but yeah, I don't like it, you know. It's borderlining on going in and looking at cars, you know. Oh, you want this? You'll have to have this. Have you seen this? No. So yeah. Anyways, so at Quilter Quilting, we were talking to them, and one of the owners came to me and said, "So, how do you like the passport this year? You know, they give you this little, you print it out on your computer, and you get a stamp at each one of the stores you go to on the shop hop, and then if you get a stamp at each one, you can put it in for a grand prize. But each store also has a smaller prize as well. Enter you into a draw if you buy something, that kind of thing. In fact, I won at the Quilters Inn last year. With that, it was mostly stuff I didn't want, but the best part was the box. It was a little wooden crate, and I still use that. It's here all the time. I find that really useful. I thought it was great. But anyways, I guess we're not in the big draw because we didn't go to every one of the stores. But she was saying, "Did you know?" I said, "Well, yeah, it looks kind of like last year's." And she says, "No." She says, "Look at the back." Oh, yeah, I forgot. This year they put a map on the back that showed you where each store was located. And they put the hours of the stores.
Yeah, because last year they didn't have the hours of the stores. And one of the problems is that on Saturday, normally Quilter Quilting closes at 1. Which is
they're open for
very much time.
3. I think they're open for 4 hours now, because I think they open now at 9 on Saturday and close at 1. Yeah. So I got asked last year, you know, at Quilter Quilting, I said, you know, it would be good if you had the store hours on there. We had to look those up online and figure it all out because we wanted to plan out our route. We didn't want to get I said, like, to you guys, and you were closed or something with that. And, you know, and a map. Because these stores are not next to each other. They're all over the place.
Yeah, like a good half-hour drive or whatever between, well, not a half hour, but
You know,
like 20
well,
minutes to a half-hour drive between them.
yeah, at least. Yeah, from the, well, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was. So, you know, if you're going to hit them all,
Well,
you're
to
going to do
drive
some
all the way
driving.
up to Cameron in the first place, that's the first place we went to,
Yeah.
the furthest one away from us,
That's an hour.
and that's almost an hour. So
Yeah. And it goes from there. But anyways, they had done that. So I said, oh, yeah. I said, notice that. That's great improvement on that. I mean, it's the little things, you know. But it helps, you know, because, I mean, it works in their favor, too, because people might get PO'd if they thought that, like, Quilter Quilting was open till 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the Saturday, and they showed up for the shop up and the place is closed. That would probably piss people off. It would piss me off. So if they can see what times these stores open at and what time they close, they can plan their route out accordingly with it. So yeah, I think that was a good improvement. And it looked like they were busy. Lots of people at Quilter Quilting when we were there getting stuff too. So yeah, I bought stuff there too. So as I said, on Tuesday's Idiot Quilter, I will show you my haul, everything I bought. I was fairly conservative. I think I only spent about 500 this time instead of like 5,000. But there's always other opportunities for that. So let's see who's been joining us. Oh, Stephanie's here. Hi, Stephanie. And let's back it up a bit so I can see who else has joined us. Em is here. Hi, Em. And Pat is here. And let's see, Sherry Cook. Robert is here.
Pat Jennings said tutorial. The shirt is not a tutorial.
No. It may look a little bit like a tutorial, but the only way it's going to look like a tutorial is when Walter's giving me instructions and I'm asking questions. So it's not a tutorial. So if you are planning to follow along and make the shirt, no, if you've never done a shirt before, this is not the video for you to learn step by step how to make a shirt. You will learn something, I am sure, from it, but it's not that kind of thing. Now, what it will do is if you've never made a shirt before, and I have never made a shirt before, you are going to see the ins and outs of a first-time garment sewing person, because I have never sewn any kind of garments at all in that. And that's really what we're trying to illustrate. If you pick up some tips and tricks along the way, that's great. But yeah, like I said, this could be a comedy routine.
And no, our shirts are not new. That's
No.
the most recent shirt I made for Steven, that one. And this one is actually one of my first shirts. Actually, it's my second shirt. That was before I matched the pockets.
Yes, before you, well, I'm not sure, you can't really tell
No.
anyways that, but yes, see, invisible pocket. Now you see it, or now you see it.
That might be
Now you
bloodletting, showing him how to do that.
Well, that could be.
I even every time I do it, I sort of have to relearn how to do it.
Yeah. So who else has come in here? Pat says, I have a grandson who likes collared shirts. He is almost 2. Smart kid. I like collared shirts. I do not like t-shirts. I have to have a collared shirt. Barb says, how much fabric do you need to make a shirt?
Okay, so it depends on how big you are.
Well,
if you're a big person, you need more fabric than you need. Listen, the patterns that you purchase always have a guide on the back as far as how big of a shirt you're making and about how much fabric that you need. On the shirts that I'm making, the minimum is 2.5 yards. However, I always buy 3 meters because I have screwed up a sleeve.
you're mixing up units of measurement.
Yeah, I know. I look at 2.5 yards as being 2.5 meters. Okay, just for ease
of sake, yeah.
thing, right? But I like to get 3 meters because I have made a mistake on the sleeve before, to the point where I needed to cut another sleeve out, and if I have 2.5 yards, I can't get another sleeve out of that. So I like to keep I'd like to have a little extra for leeway in case I make a mistake.
And Gail wants to know what the fabric is in our shirts. Because they're
Well,
both made of the
that
same
I
fabric.
have no idea. This shirt I made quite a few years, 2 or 3 years ago. I do not recall the fabric pattern. And
That's not what she asked.
what?
Fabric. It says, what fabric is Stephen's shirt?
Okay, what fabric is Stephen's shirt? It's Aboriginal pattern.
What fabric
Oh.
is the shirt made out of? It's quilting cotton.
Yeah, all my shirts are quilting cotton.
Sounds like the wind blew in Chicago.
But I got from is like what design?
Well, that's not what it says. It says, what fabric is Stephen's shirt? 5 little words. What was difficult about
I do
that?
quilting cotton because they're nice. Quilting cotton is nice and colorful. You get colorful patterns and stuff like that. Shirts are often made out of poplin or a polyester poplin weave or something for dress shirts, and the patterns are really boring. It's like stripes and checks.
We always get people when I'm wearing one of my shirts or we're going in someplace and we're wearing these shirts, they want to know, oh, where did you get that shirt? And I went, Walter makes them. Oh, do you make them? Is this a business? And we always say no, and I always say you can't afford them. I answer that question so many times to the fact that people touch me. There was a lady in Kawartha Quilting. I suddenly feel this hand on me going down my side on this and goes, oh, I really like your shirt. Where did you get it? Okay, boundaries. I don't remember giving you consent. Okay, I'm not that kind of boy with it. But I've said to Walter, maybe on the shirt I make, I'm going to put on the pocket a little arrow going, he made it.
Yeah, well, Gail says she meant fabric pattern.
Oh, well, it's not my fault. It's Gail's fault. You said fabric. You didn't say pattern. You said fabric.
Okay, it is Australian Aboriginal fabric that I bought in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And you can buy Australian fabric in US and Canada, but you have to look for it.
Okay, I'm still confused then. She said fabric pattern. Does she mean the design on the fabric, or do you mean the actual pattern that...
I think she means the design of the fabric.
Why don't you let Gail speak for herself? You know, I used to teach English. Language for me
but
is
people
something
here
very...
don't listen, don't interpret English the way
Well,
you do.
I do. So sorry. You need to be aware of that. I'm very precise in the language. Yes. But anyways, so I want to make sure Gail gets the right answer. That, but you always have a little story in your head, don't you? Yeah. Okay. So Jean E is here and Christine is here. Pat says she's looking forward to learning what you two share about shirt making. Well, heaven only knows what you'll learn. As I said, it will be interesting to say the least. Yeah. Okay, so shop hop, we did that. In the way it compared to last year, about the same. I mean, except for the passport. Yeah, it was about the same. So yeah, it's something to do. It was a nice day, so that was good too. Okay, what else is coming up? Well, we're going to be busy in the week before the retreat because we've got 2 separate dinner parties, for lack of a better word. We have Ron and Joan, some of you who come on to the Wednesday sew days, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, will know who Ron is. Ron is down on the East Coast, and he's fairly regular on the Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. And he is coming out to Ontario he's got a wedding on, and they're visiting some family in Ottawa and things like that. So they're going to be here on October the 9th. That's why I was getting my dates mixed up. October the 9th. And Ron and Joan, his wife, are coming here for dinner. So we're having dinner that night with them. And then on the weekend, it's Thanksgiving here in Canada. So I've got my sister and her family coming. So that's why I made that table runner, and I ordered and got a new tablecloth with sort of Thanksgiving-y looks to it for the table, and I'm making these napkins, and yeah, and I'm going to afford to way too much work for my family because, yeah, they don't really have an appreciation for this kind of stuff. If it was cross-stitching, my sister definitely would, but because she's quite the cross-stitcher, so yeah, she does beautiful work. Anyways, that's all coming up. That's going to be busy. Oh yeah, the dentist. On Monday, when I did my vlog, I mentioned the fact that I was going to the dentist, and I hate going to the dentist because I have a little bit of a phobia left over from childhood and all that bit. And anyways, I was really surprised. The torture queen, who usually gets in there and goes for, you know, trying to dig a hole to China in my mouth and whatnot, she says, "You've got next to no buildup whatsoever." Well, I went, whoa, high praise. She says, yep, she was taking a measurement, you know, because when they don't have anything else to do and, you know, they still want to go ka-ching, ka-ching for the money, she was measuring whatever she measures with her little probe for, you know, how far my gums have receded, you know. And she says, no, everything is about the same as the last time I did this check. She says, so everything's stable. And I said, well, receding happen, don't they? I'm old. And in fact, he says, oh, down here in the bottom, she says, did you ever have a filling down here? And I said, I don't know. I don't remember. Could have. She says, I don't know. She says, I think you might have, but it's gone. Is it bothering you? I said, no. And then she says, is this bothering you? Not much. Like, you know, okay, fine. So she looked up my dental records on her little computer. You know, there's always behind your head, and it's like being in church. If you turn around, you'll turn to stone, kind of a thing. Same thing. I never feel comfortable spinning around in the chair. Well, even the chairs are designed, you can't do that, to see what they're looking at. Anyway, she looked, no, I guess she didn't. She goes, oh my God, you've been coming here for a long time. And I said, I started coming to this location when I was 11 years old. I'm 67 now. She's just, you're 67? You've got my records in front of you. Can you do the math? The year, 1957, you know? Work backwards that. As I said, I'm old. And I says, yeah, I've gone through, this is the third dentist here at this spot. I said, they just retire or quit over the years, but I go on forever. In fact, I own several of the rooms in this place because of the amount of money I've spent here over those years. So anyways, yeah, I was very happy. And that means that the water pick, which Jan, I don't know if Jan's on today, but my friend Jan recommended highly to me a year ago, and, you know, she was right. The water pick does make a lot of difference. Now, I use it 3 times a day. I mean, basically, the water pick people say, you know, once a day is good, but I think 3 is good. I use it after every time I brush and whatnot, and you won't believe the crap that comes out of your mouth after you have brushed and then use the water pick. You're blowing chunks. I know it is kind of gross, but it's working. And I floss as well. Yeah, I do not want to have teeth like my parents. And the dental hygienist said to me, she said, did you ever have braces? And I says, no, I probably should have. She says, no. She says, your teeth are straight and they're white. You don't need braces at all. And I says, well, in my family, there was talk about it, but then my sister got the braces. You know, she's a girl. Guys apparently won't marry women with crooked teeth. So I don't know. That was the way they thought in those days, I guess. So, but my sister does have beautiful teeth as well. Except, he had to have some of her gums grafted. And part of that was because of having braces. So they told her. I'm not really sure the ins and outs of that, but yeah. So I guess I was lucky. I didn't have braces, so, and according to the dental hygienist, didn't need them. Also learned all about Prague, because she's from Prague, or she's been living here since she was a kid. But I guess, well, I'm not sure when she came to Canada. She doesn't really have an accent, although she does speak Czechs. Because she told me
She
that.
probably came at a very early age.
Yeah. But her parents live there. So I don't know. She must have come with her parents. I don't know when she came. But
Well,
she
it
goes.
could be that her parents moved here and then they moved back.
Well, they
again.
may have. And she goes over every year to visit them. Anyways, I guess her daughter's in the airline business, so she gets cheap flights as well. But she was telling me all about Prague, which makes us think that we should go to Prague and Budapest, possibly
Maybe
sometime next year. Walter's already, the little gears are working in his head about that one. So that might be fun. Well, okay, so that was good. Um, Now we have to start thinking about our fall shots, flu, and the next COVID booster. And it's always a pain in the butt. I have to phone my doctor this week. Well, I'm going to get my blood work done this week. And then I'm going to compare and see whether I really need to be on 20 milligrams of Crestor or stay on 10. I haven't been taking the 20 milligrams because I was under on the number. But she seems to panic and think she has to double my medication all the time. So I want to go in armed and say to her, okay, why are you putting me on double the amount of Crestor that I've been on the same amount for the last 20 years of my life? Why is that? Because I just checked my results for my last blood test and compared it to the test before. And what I'm hoping I'll see is been no change in to where it says, oh, you're going on the high end of the scale here or anything. So I don't know what that's
it's
all
probably
about.
because you drink too much chocolate milk.
Oh, more than likely. Screw up. Yeah. Yeah, we went to all kinds of places in Toronto that had wonderful food. And all I could do was drool and move on. Not allowed to have that. And he'll say, yes, you can have it. I just won't have any. Whatever. Okay, what's people saying here?
I'm not quite sure what Robert is saying. He says, that's cool, Walter. I see quilting fabric. I'd like to have, like drawstring shorts
Made from.
Well, I'm not sure if you can use quilting cotton for drawstring shorts. You may be able to use them. Maybe a little sheer for you. It may be like...
you might want to line them.
You might want to line them with a woven interfacing.
Yeah.
To give it more structure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You can dry it. I don't know. I don't wear drawstring shorts, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either, and I never will. That's another thing that's not in my closet.
Drawstring anything. I might wear a pair of track pants for cutting the lawn, but that's about it.
I don't wear those either. I don't even own a pair with that. Just call me picky.
If it doesn't have a belt, I don't wear it.
So Gail says, I just turned 69, so my questions are now a mystery.
Huh?
I don't understand.
Well, my questions now a mystery.
Okay, I'm not sure how to answer that one, Gail. I'm not sure. Are you just saying because you turned 69 and kind of you don't remember things? Like I say that all the time, kind of a thing, or what? I don't understand. Sorry.
Yeah, well, actually, if you're talking about the pattern, the type of quilting fabric that it's quilting cotton, right? That he's got right on, and the pattern itself is an Australian print pattern that's made in Australia. So
yeah, it's Aboriginal fabric from Australia.
So you may not be able to find it in the U.S. or Canada.
No. Oh, Colleen's here. Hi, Colleen. I'm busy fussy cutting nature fabric as I giggle listening to you. Well, don't cut your finger. Robert says, going to have to give it a whirl, Walter. Patsy says, my internet is messing up. Broken audio. Guess the storm is still causing havoc. Or internet gremlins. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys had the big storm blow through in some parts of the States, didn't you? We
really didn't get any.
No, it was like...
It was a little windy yesterday.
It was a little windy yesterday, but we didn't get really any rain or anything. They said it was going to kind of affect us, but I think it veered. I think it veered towards the East Coast.
No, actually, I think it veered most of it veered west of us.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
I think it's sort of split.
Well, I didn't look at a map, so I don't know. Hi, Candace. Barb says, sometimes doctors prescribe medication as a preventative measure. Yeah, I know, Barb, but I question that philosophy.
I know that my doctor, which is Steve's doctor right now, she has a tendency to overprescribe. Like she's free.
She's a pill pusher.
I've been on a 5 milligram of statin for a time, and she keeps trying to up it to 10, and I keep saying no. And Steve was on 10, and then suddenly she starts.
She doubled it.
I said to her, "Why do you want?" I said, "My numbers are normal according to the tests." I said, "Why do you want me on 10?" Well, it'll give you a little bit better protection against a heart attack. And then she writes out her formula for a heart attack, and then I look at it, and it's like I've got 5% chance of a heart attack. So like, I said, okay, so I said if you up, I said to her last time, I said up it to 10, does that mean I'll live to 120?
Yeah. Well, okay, on the one hand, she's trying to be, like you've said, Barb, preventative for that, and I suppose that's maybe not a bad thing. She's got your best interests at heart, but in this day and age of pill city, where there's a pill for everything, and, yeah, it may help prevent one thing, but will it create another problem?
Yeah.
That's what bothers me about it, because of the side effects of these pills.
Yeah, the statins often have other side effects, and Steve wasn't feeling right taking 20, so
No.
Whether that's psychological or not, but I don't know why he was taking 20.
Why? Well, I wasn't taking it. She just suddenly upped it to 20, and I think I took 2 of those tablets, and I was talking to you about it, and then you said, "Well, just go back on the 10."
But she's done other weird things to me, because I was on a higher amount of blood pressure pills, and then all of a sudden she reduced it, and I have no idea why she did. I said, "You lower." I didn't question it. I thought, okay, I'm taking less. Okay, that's fine by me.
I don't know. I suppose she's a bit of a minimalist when it comes to explanations of things. I'm sure if you ask her, she will tell you. It's not like she's holding information from you, but I think basically, and I think a lot of doctors are this way, they want you in, they want you out. They're busy. They're very busy. At least here in our province, they certainly are, because we have a shortage of doctors to start with. So the doctors, are at their limit for how many patients they can handle. And, there are those people who go to the doctor for the slightest sniffle, and that's using up doctors' time for, people who really are having a more major problem, I guess. I don't know. She's a good doctor. I like her well enough, but she's a pill pusher, and I'm trying to avoid taking a lot of pills, because I've seen what it did to my father. Because the family doctor we had with my dad, the family doctor there basically put him on all kinds of stuff, and one of the things he put him on was Celebrex, and for his arthritis, I think it was, and that kind of thing. My dad had very severe pain from that, and he got an ulcer and the doctor's answer, "Oops, I should have given you this other drug to counteract that, because Celebrex is really hard on your system." And how would the average person necessarily know that? My dad didn't. My dad accepted what the doctor said and did what the doctor
told him. In
told
fact, I believe that our friend Linda, who had stomach cancer.
She died from stomach cancer.
And she was on Celebrex for many years.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't doubt that was what caused her to get the cancer.
Yeah. Gail says the medical profession is called practicing medicine until they get it right, I guess. Yeah, but I don't like to be the guinea pig for this. And as says, my doctor increased my blood pressure meds, but I didn't, so it's always okay. I think she means that she took control and she didn't go with the increase. I'm assuming that's what she means. People, is this cryptic day, or am I just dense? Right. Complete sentences, please.
See, now you're reading between.
Well, I'm having to read between the lines, because otherwise I won't know what anybody's talking about. Jeez. But anyways, yeah. So Dennis went well. Time is coming for the shots. We'll see how quickly we get in this year. I'm hoping our doctor has a clinic like she did last year.
Yeah,
we got a corner this week. and see if she's planning that and get her name on the list for it. Because I'd rather have her give me the shot than go to the pharmacy. But there's still
Might still have to go there for COVID.
probably have to go there for the COVID because she doesn't get the COVID boosters in. So yeah, like let's go to a pharmacy, stand around and wait while there's people going all the time. Yeah, great preventative medicine there. Not. So anyways, I had the big problem with when we got the new iPhones and that, and I wiped out my computer. Well, everything I think is up and running fine now this week, and that's fine, and I will never do that again, I hope, because that was scary when I did it. But we did send our old iPhones back because they have a trade-in thing, and they told us that our phones, you do an online assessment of the condition of your older phone, and they were giving us $595 Canadian back on both of them. It did, and boy, was that fast. They send you a mailer when we got our new phones and iWatches. They sent us a mailer. They pay for the postage, tell you how to pack it, what to do. You seal it up. You take it down to your local UPS, which we have one not too far from us. Walked in, handed the lady at the counter, got a receipt for it. Off they went. By the end of the week, that was Monday we did that?
Yeah, Monday we did that. I think by Wednesday I got a message.
By Wednesday we got that they had
they had approved or what they do is they give you an estimate based on what you your condition your phone is, and then you send it in and they evaluate to make sure that what you said is correct. I mean, they're not going to give you money for it unless they can see what it is that you've got. So both our phones were in good condition.
And they've already credited our accounts with the money, and I've already spent it. Yeah.
Well, you've got yours. I haven't got mine yet.
Well, I had a lot of things I had to buy this week. I needed filament as well as the shop pop, and then I needed some other little things too, which I'm going to talk about on the vlog and via Quilter this week as well. So stay tuned for all of that. So for the most part though, say what you will about Apple, people love to hate Apple products, but
they are fairly efficient.
Yep, much more so than anything from Microsoft, I can tell you. So yeah,
well, Microsoft doesn't make them, so
well, no, but I mean other products that over the years that I've used with. Let's see here. Derek says, this healthcare shortage is getting serious. A kid fainted in my class while seated this week, and the ambulance wouldn't come out even though we said he looked awful. We took him to the ER ourselves. Well, that's
not good.
No, God. Like, that's refusing service, and I think...
But he's in...
Yeah, I know, he's in the UK. But here, I don't think they can refuse service. They come. When my mother fell over several times in her apartment,
we couldn't pick her up.
And we couldn't pick her up, and my dad too. When we called the ambulance service 911, and they came out and picked them up and checked them over to make sure that they're okay and all that kind of stuff. But they were great with it. I mean, they were. I said to one guy, I said, I'm sorry about this when it was my dad, because it was like every week we were calling kind of a thing. I said, I'm sorry about this. I said, but we just can't physically pick up my dad. He's like a dead weight, and he won't even help himself out while we're trying to lift him. And I mean, my dad weighed he was a pretty sturdy man.
I would think he was a couple of 100 pounds.
At least. Yeah, he was probably 250. 240, 250, I don't know, whichever at that point. But
yeah, we couldn't get him out.
We couldn't get him out.
He wasn't helping.
No, he was not helping. And he would get himself in the worst positions.
Yeah, like wedged in between the bed.
Tearing a wall. But how he did that, I never understood. I'd look at him, Dad, are you okay? Are you... Oh, yeah. I fell. I said, Dad, how did you fall here? What were you doing? Well, I don't know. I was just sitting there. Okay, Dad, whatever. So yeah, so they came right out and they were really nice about it. So yeah, so I don't know, that's too bad. They seem to be picking and choosing. I wonder if it's because it was a university
Mm.
and they figured these kids are basically faking it or looking for attention or something. I don't know. But if staff call, they should trust the judgment of the teachers, the instructors, and the professors. Oh well, I don't know. Maybe it happens here too. We just
I
don't
mean,
know.
our ERs are overflowing as
Yeah.
well. So
That's for sure. But anyway, so we went off on Saturday, yesterday, to Toronto. We took the GO train in, which is a commuter train. Best way to go if you are planning a trip to Toronto,
and you live in Ontario.
and you live in Ontario, yeah, the GO train's the way to go in there for several reasons. Downtown core of Toronto is a mess. Every street is dug up. There is literally no parking. And when you find a place to park,
Yeah, parking's
it's going to
pretty
cost
expensive.
you like
30
what,
to
$30?
$40, maybe even more.
Yeah.
Where you are. And actually, the GO train was really good because we got there. We happened to get there in time to grab a train. What we paid was we got a $10
all day pass.
So that's as many travels as you want
Go
on the
wherever.
GO train. But that worked out okay. And we live about 40 miles. We live about 30 miles outside of Toronto.
We live more like 40 miles.
40 miles outside of Toronto, so it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
You just park your car for free and hop on the train, takes you right into downtown.
Yeah. I mean, we drive to the GO station, but they have a huge parking lot. And last time I took the GO train into Toronto, it was on a weekday. And of course, all the commuters are taking up all of the parking spots. And that was
It's hard to get a parking spot on a weekday, but
weekends is much easier.
Weekends was much easier. We got a day
Still
pass.
busy. Yeah, and we got the day pass, so we hopped on the train. Actually, it was good timing because we got down there, and the train was already in, and we got on it just before they shut the door, so we had no wait time.
Yeah, and they run pretty much every 30 minutes.
Yep.
So
So we got downtown Toronto on into Union Station, and from there we explored parts of Toronto. I mean, we haven't done that in a long time, so you will see. I made a video of the whole thing. It runs about 25 minutes. I'm not playing it here today. It'll be played on my vlog tomorrow. So tomorrow's vlog is going to be a little lengthy with it. But we went through some of the major districts of Toronto. We went down by, we went to this place. It's called The Web. And
it was supposedly advertised on the internet as like this big, huge food court or something.
Yeah, with very, like, more than your average type, but not your McDonald's and stuff.
Kind of unique, almost food truck style vendors in there, like different vendors. But we went there, and it actually was a little disappointing.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot more hype than it was worth.
Yeah.
Plus, it's expensive. They had places like, there's something called, was it Jabadog?
No, Japadog.
Japadog.
That's out in Vancouver. If you don't remember that, we saw Japadog. Yeah. I guess it's coming more into
it's gourmet hot dogs.
Japanese style, or actually gourmet hot dogs with Japanese style toppings on it.
Yeah. Well, there's not just Japanese style. They have, like, you name it, they'll put it on your hot dog.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing at a price.
Yeah.
Because I think they're like, I don't know, $8 or $9 for one of those.
I don't know. I don't know. How do we know? You didn't look at the prices.
I'm thinking of the YouTube video we watched about this and what the guy did when he quoted. Actually, I think he said they were something like $12.
Yeah,
they were quite expensive for a hot dog. And there were other places on that line too. Like there was that Japanese
Uncle Tetsu's cheesecake,
which is Japanese cheesecake. Which did we try one of those?
We got a President's Choice version of that.
Oh yeah,
time. It's a fluffier cheesecake.
Yeah, I mean they're okay, but they want you to give them your firstborn for that.
Yeah.
So from there we went out. We walked up to the the garment district, and we'd never really explored. There's a street called Street, which it's very bohemian in its style. It's a lot of independent little clothing stores, specialty shops.
Yeah, and it tends to be
of cannabis.
Close to the art college, so you get a lot of the people that are artsy,
yeah,
in that area. and so their stores are kind of
They're very, yeah, they're
that way.
not your usual stuff in there. And we went down there, and that's in a close around where the garment district is. And there's a lot of stores down there for, if you were a garment maker, there's every fabric you want. Not so much for quilters.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of is wholesale kind of stuff. So, you got to know.
And
your
they're
quality.
piled high in these places.
Oh, yeah.
So you really need to know what you're getting.
Yeah,
so.
you got to know what's there. And we looked at most of from the outside off the street, but then Walter said he wanted to look for buttons. But we went to one place and looked at, but there weren't buttons there that he liked.
And I wasn't going to dig through a bin of buttons. Plus, the only problem with taking a GO train is that if you buy anything, you got to lug it with you. So
yeah, so we weren't really.
I wasn't really into buying
into
anything.
the shopping mood with that. So we did that, and there was one place on our way up the street from the garment district that we went into that Walter's ordered from online. What was that place? The place that has the leather and everything. You've ordered from them.
Yeah, it was a leather supply and sewing company. I've ordered stuff from them before when I was making a jeans jacket and stuff like that. As what do you call it? I've like the button jean style buttons and rivets to interface to reinforce pockets and things like that. And the ones you can buy them on Amazon, but they're usually poor quality from China and that. And this company has really good quality stuff. They also sell leather material and all kinds
bag
of
making,
sewing supplies, all the different kinds of
hardware for bags and stuff, and zippers.
And tons of zippers.
They had zippers coming out of your yin yang on there. You name it, they had it. And lots of it. And they had threads too. Different spools, large spools of various types of thread.
Yeah.
Like name brand threads.
Yeah.
Prices weren't bad on the ones I looked at, but I wasn't in the market for threads.
I mean the stuff I've ordered from them was always really reasonable priced. And if I've ordered it from online, and they're really fast for shipping. And so it was kind of neat to go into that store because I've never that's the first time I've been in the physical store.
So good to know that exists, but you can get it on, like you can order from online too. So, and you said they're fast. So
yeah, Robert. Yes, ask. If you go ahead.
Just a second, I'm catching up here. Sure. Oh, Derek says their ambulances started prioritizing for the most serious cases, as many of them are stuck in line at the ER trying to get patients in the hospital. Same thing here. Here. So they might be doing the same thing too when it comes to prioritizing. I don't know. Philippa says the GO train has excellent service for public transport. Very relaxing. You don't have to deal with traffic. Yeah, it's really the way to go when it comes to Toronto. And so what I was saying earlier is if you've never been to Toronto and you're planning a trip to Toronto, be prepared for the traffic. And I know someone's going to say, well, New York City. Well, yeah, New York City is very, very, very bad as well. We know, we've been there. Well, Toronto is becoming almost as bad as New York City. Robert says, Walter, I see what you mean about using that typeface.
That type of fabric, I think.
Oh, type fabrics. Reading something that's not there. Using that type of fabric, yeah. Wild Rose says, 88 watching, only 16 thumbs up. Don't forget to give Stephen and Walter. Thank you, Wild Rose.
Yeah, Robert, there's I've seen examples of, which I haven't really done much, but of people adapting different kinds of fabric for different kinds of uses. Like, and you can do different things with fabric and just by interfacing them. Like I saw somebody use Brendan, the guy that taught me how to sew. He had gotten cotton linen fabric, interfaced all the linen fabric, and sewn a jean jacket out of it. And actually it looks really cool because it looks like a jean jacket, but it's very lightweight. And it's all made out of linen. And you can do all kinds of things like that just by interfacing and giving it more structure. types of fabric, so you might you can fool around with stuff like that.
I mean, I have an idea in the back of my head if I'm successful with this little experiment in shirt making we're doing, because I'm seriously thinking if depending on how this goes, and there's a lot of ifs on this, I was thinking of making my own fabric from scraps, quilting cotton or something more designer, and making sort of a quilted shirt. Not sure what that looks like or how that looks, and he'll poo-paw it, so I'm not listening to him because he kills all my joy with this, because he does something like looks at the practical side. Practicality is not for the that's for boring people. Practicality.
Actually, I think it would be more for it would be a little better.
Probably. Well, maybe. Yeah, whatever. Something like that. First of all, I got to get a shirt under my belt, and heaven only knows what that's going to look like. So anyway, if you're coming to Toronto, be prepared for traffic. Be prepared for high prices. Okay. If you're going to eat anything beyond McDonald's, then you will be paying for it. That's just the name of it. It's a big city. So yeah, all big cities are like that. And Toronto's definitely not an exception to it. The other thing too is the culture. Okay, Toronto claims to be a very multicultural city, and it is, but it runs in waves. Right now, we have a huge influx of people from the Middle East and from India. So when you're walking down the streets of Toronto, it looks like a foreign country in many ways. We have a fair number of people from Asia, well, that are here, because we have a lot of immigrants coming into Canada, and they all go to Toronto, because big city. And Toronto is a very expensive city to live in. Like, people are moving out of Toronto because they can't.
Yeah, but even in our area, it's expensive to live. So.
But it's not as expensive as Toronto.
No.
Toronto, everything is.
And they're building huge condominiums in Toronto. 80, 100 stories.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's amazing that the downtown core is so congested with buildings. You wouldn't think they could get another building in that, but they do. They do somehow. In one case, they actually have taken an older building that's already a high rise, and they've built on top of it to make it even higher. So yeah, it's an interesting city. I will say that. And I think I have a little bit of a better appreciation for Toronto this time when we went on the trip. I wasn't so paranoid. COVID made me paranoid of Toronto to go in. Because we used to. Years ago, we used to go in on a
Really
little bit
regular.
More, yeah, that kind of thing.
We often went in and stayed in a hotel and
Yeah.
Overnight, but lately the hotels are so expensive.
Well, you can't
in
afford
Toronto
that, yeah.
It's not worth it.
So you're better off to go in for the day and go back out on the GO train with it. There were several festivals going on. We didn't know this was happening. Down along Queen's Park, where the Parliament building is, the legislature for Ontario, there was all these tents set up, display tent kind of things. Now, I thought at first it had something to do with the National Day of Reconciliation, which is tomorrow. And it is sort of, I haven't figured it out yet whether it is actually considered a holiday or not.
It is. It's considered a statutory holiday.
Is it considered a statutory holiday? Okay. So are the kids off school?
I think so.
Statutory holiday. All right, but anyways, what it is, I'm not completely sure what it is. But it has to do with the Aboriginal people, with our native peoples, and you've probably heard, some of you, that we had a problem with residential schools going back as far as 160 years ago. Basically, the Catholic Church and the government of the day rounded up all the children of the native peoples, put them into these schools, these boarding schools, stripped them of their language, stripped them of their culture. Basically, we're trying to make them white. With that, and there was abuse, both physical, sexual, emotional abuse in those schools. They're still finding unmarked graves at the sites of some of where these residential schools were. And so this is one of the actions the Canadian government is taking to, honor and to recognize what happened in that time period and everything. But you can't change history. Yes, it was a horrible thing that happened in the whole bit, but I don't know how you can make it better. Because although the federal government acknowledges this, we even have now a national holiday for this and the whole bit. It's not enough, at least according to the native population. I'm not really sure what they want out of this, because they keep wanting an apology. Okay, I think our government has apologized several times on several different levels. And I don't know what else they want. I mean, there's no doubt about it that our Indigenous people in the country are being abused by our federal government. However, there's a lot more to it too as well. And, they're Canadians. They should get the same support as all other Canadians. And depending on who you talk to, the opinion's out on whether they're getting that or not. If you talk to a Native person, they're not. If you talk to the government, they are. So I don't know. But anyways, that's what I thought all these tents were set up for. Turned out, no, I was completely wrong. It was set up for children's literacy. And all these children's book authors that were there doing readings and signings, and, public libraries and other institutes that were, handing out things. One young guy came up to me, looked like a lot of university students were helping out with this, came up to me and says, "Would you like a bookmark?" And he was all smiles and chuckles about it. And I said, "No, thank you. You can keep it. I read electronically." He says, "Oh, so do I." Yeah, you don't need a bookmark if you read electronically. Maybe he figured because I look like some old fart, I probably didn't know how to use an e-reader. He was like, 20 nothing. So, whatever. But anyways, it was interesting. So we stumbled into that. And then we made our way into, we went to Kensington Market. I forgot before we got up there, as we were going through all the different districts. We went to Kensington Market. Kensington Market is a very eclectic, older part of Toronto. It's been there for decades and decades and decades. Very bohemian. It's the places where you can go and you can see meat hanging in the window.
And a lot of places sell used clothing.
And vintage clothing, they call it.
Yeah, vintage clothing.
Yeah, and other things, handcrafts and stuff like that. It's an interesting spot to visit. Again, don't drive there.
Yeah, you can't drive there.
There's no parking there either.
There's no parking there.
There is parking on the street, but those are cars for people that live there.
You might find like a big building that has public parking in it or something like that.
And you'll pay your $40 or $30 or whatever for the time you're in there and whatnot. But that's an interesting part of Toronto to go and take a look.
They have a lot of different little eateries and stuff like that.
Yeah. And we went to Yorkville. Yorkville is it was a hippie hangout in the 60s and the early 70s, and it's been gentrified now. And now it's got some posh little shops and things. It's got a lot of art galleries that sell art. So if you're into sculpture, if you're into, very expensive art, you can go there for that. And the restaurants are all very trendy kind of things. The word is now posh. I hear that word being used a lot these days. Posh. It's very posh. So Toronto's got a lot of interesting little neighborhoods all over the place. They each have their own characteristics and flavor. We didn't go to the distillery district. That was kind of off our path that we're walking on. We've been there before. But it is what it sounds like. It's an old distillery that the whole area has been taken over by people selling high-end art, trendy food places, stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. They have a big Christmas market every year in December, tail end of November, we've been to it before. Again, it's, that kind of flavor, where you walk in and you go, oh, that would look cute on the Christmas tree. Yeah, it's $150. Okay, no. It's not that cute for that. Kim McGowan is here. Hi, Kim. Pat's just, Stephen, I hope follow up on designing your own shirt from different fabrics. Well, we'll see. You know, it depends on how this goes. I may not like this experience, and if I don't like it, doesn't bring me joy, well, you know what I say. I won't be doing it. S. Lopez is here. Pat says, exciting way to expand on your creativity. Yeah, well, it's something out of my wheelhouse. It's a challenge, so I'm up for that. Crested Butte. Is that Colorado?
I guess
Theo,
so.
USA is extremely expensive.
Could be.
Okay,
I don't know.
We don't know. It's a little bit of a way from us.
Yeah. I mean, we just know that our area has become quite expensive.
Yeah. Robert, I met an LDS on a mission here in the U.S. She suggested I visit Nova Scotia. You think the same, eh?
I don't know. I mean,
Nova Scotia is beautiful.
I mean, Nova Scotia is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's about 1,000 miles away from us, but
yeah, we've been.
we were there in 2020.
Yeah. With it, it's beautiful. The East Coast is beautiful.
Yeah.
Down there. Not a lot to do, but if you're not somebody who likes a wild nightlife or something like that, then you love it. And if you're into nature, you'll love it. There's a lot of history in the East Coast.
Halifax is the biggest city, so it's
it's nice.
It's a smallish city, but it's nice. There's a lot of stuff there, so
yeah. So if you get a chance to go there, go by all means. But if you're going to go to Nova Scotia, you need the whole East Coast. You need to do New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI. Those are the three biggies. And if you want to be really adventuresome, book the ferry, which takes you, like, it's an overnight ferry kind of a thing, to Newfoundland.
And we have never been.
We've never been to Newfoundland. No, it's on our list of things to do, but we haven't got around to that yet. So yeah, and then we ended up in the gay district. Of course, it's not like it used to be.
No,
it's basically you'd never know that was the big gay district at one point in time because
a lot of the places have closed down.
Well, like I said, the straights moved in, and anytime the straights move into those areas, it just destroys it. Or as we like to fondly refer to the straights as breeders. The one thing that was nice when we were much younger and you were walking down the street, because it's one street, several blocks long, the gay district, was we didn't have to jump and hop and skip out of the way of baby carriages. Yeah, those days are over. They're there. And if it's not a breeder with children, it's the newfangled gays with their children. So, yeah. So we had dinner down there as well. And dinner was good.
Yeah.
With that. I had the chicken souvlaki with a Greek salad on it. And that was very good. And you got the what? The chicken with...
Chicken and avocado on a panini, or not a panini.
No, it's ciabatta.
Ciabatta, whatever. And a salad with it.
Yeah. So we had a nice day, and we walked our way back down to Union Station to get on the GO train to come home. We did a lot of walking.
Yeah, we did about 20 kilometers, so that's like about...
kilometers.
Yeah, 20 kilometers, that is like...
It's about 16 miles. No, it's 1.6 kilometers in a mile. So Walter's doing the math here. Anyways, it's a bit of a hike. Little sore today. Top of my feet for some reason. I don't know why the top of my feet.
It's about 12 miles.
12 miles, okay.
12 miles of walking.
Of inner city walking, yeah. That. So then we got on the GO train to come home. Oh, well, there was a Blue Jays game that day, too. There's always something going on in downtown Toronto. And so the Blue Jayers been to it. We're all coming back on the GO train home. And there was these two couples. Oh, my God. We know what they had been doing during the Blue Jays game. Drinking. Because the after effects of that was still lingering on them. But it was weird. They were really loud and boisterous, so you couldn't help but hear what they were talking about. And there was this one guy. What I gathered after it all was there must have been a wedding or something. They were all at, I think the two ladies, and I'm using ladies loosely on this because There wasn't a heck of a lot about them being a lady. They were looked pretty much like, oh, how do I put it gently? Trailer trash.
And what was the reference to the bridesmaids of the wedding?
Oh yeah, well, one guy, Alan, big guy, tattooed to the nth degree and the whole bit. He was scary looking. Said something about, he says, I'd never seen an uglier bunch of bridesmaids in my life. And he goes, and he caught himself, he says, except for the two of you. Well, I would agree with him in the first place. They were not, I mean, makeup is a wonderful thing. They should try it. But anyways, but this one, we were trying to figure out the relationships that were happening here. And it seemed to me that the big guy, his name was Alan, he, this woman that he was sort of with, I think he kind of met her at the wedding. Now, these were not we're not that young of people. I would say they were probably pushing in their 40s, something like this. So I think she latched onto him, and he got tickets for the Blue Jays game or something for them. So they all went to that. But I think this woman...
And I think they got plastered.
They got plastered. And this one... Well, she fell off her chair in the... This one fell off her seat in on the GO train on the way home and giggling away. And then he got up. She got up at one point in her seat and moved back a row and sat there. And he got up from his seat and went and sat in another row over there. And
it sounds to me like they were domestic.
I think they were having a little bit of an argument, but the bottom line was I think she was trying to get into his pants and he wasn't anything to do with it. I think he saw her true colors and wasn't that interested anymore. And she was, drunk-ish. So she was, pushing the boundaries, to say the least. But
well, that was entertainment.
It was entertainment. And so the couple that were either fighting or what got off before the other couple got off. The other couple went all the way to Oshawa. This other couple got off a couple of stops before Oshawa. And then the other woman who'd been being really supportive and saying nice things to the other woman, she says, oh, she's so bloody drunk. She's an embarrassment. Yeah, she fell off her chair here. No, that stick the knife into your friend's back.
After she got off the train.
After she got off the train. Yeah, so whatever. But yeah, it kept us amused. It was kind of... Oh, and there was a bug incident.
Oh, yeah, there's a bug flying around inside the train. And the one was a little drunk. She was all upset that there was this bug. It actually ended up killing. I ended up killing
well, it was on the back of Walter's seat. It crawled up there. We've seen these ones before. We call them Pickering bugs. But
I think they're actually a pine bug.
Yeah, they hang out in pine trees. They're harmless. They are kind of creepy looking, but they're harmless. And so I just took my fingers and I went flick. And she just about hit the roof because the thing started to fly, right? And it stuck itself to a window. So Walter, brave Walter, our hero with bugs, he got out his Kleenex wad that he always has in his pocket and went over and squished the poor thing. So it was no more. So, and then she got off. So we created murder for this woman for her to and then 5 minutes later she was gone. Whatever. So yeah. Overall, the day was really interesting, and as I said, I did do video, and I put it all together, and that will go up on my vlog tomorrow if you're interested. It's kind of a nice, I think it's actually kind of a nice, for those of you that haven't been to Toronto but might be thinking of going to Toronto at some point in time, you'll get a little overview of, the do's and don'ts of Toronto, like what to expect. Because I think a lot of people who come to Toronto outside of Canada think we're like backwoods hicks, and that everybody was sitting out in their front porch going, how you doing today? Good day, welcome to it. Have a beer. Yeah, want to pet my moose? Yeah, no, we don't do that. So let's see, parting comment. There were some comments from videos this last week. That one we've already talked about. Oh, yeah, there was the thing I was talking about, quilt shows and entering them, and said that I'd never heard until this one that's in my area. They want swatches of your fabric you used in the quilt, and I mentioned that, and some people came up with some reasons for why they do that. I didn't know. Said maybe they want fabric swatches to make sure you actually made the quilt. Didn't buy it somewhere. And another person qualified that. They said, yes, you're right. They want swatches at the Brooklyn Fair entries. The reasoning behind the swatches is to prevent people from entering something they did not make. The swatches are a kind of proof that you made the quilt. It's not a big deal. You always have a 2-inch fabric scrap left over. Just pin a few of the different fabric swatches together and attach them to your tags. So, okay. And another person said attaching swatches to a quilt for a quilt show. She said, she says, I may enter a quilt into a local fair for the first time and phoned a fair director to provide clarity on this issue. She said that they require a few swatches of the fabric used in a baggie and pinned to the quilt to prove that you made the quilt. There must have been issues in the past with people buying quilts and entering as their own work. Who would have thought? I mean, I'm so innocent. That idea never passed through my head that somebody would do something like that. So now that makes a little bit more sense. And then somebody else wrote, because I was saying about giving quilts away, and I said, you know what? You give them to a charity or an organization and that's it. It's gone. You don't know what has become of it, or, you know, did people appreciate it or not, or whatever. And this person wrote, not knowing what happens to the quilt after you give it away can be a good thing. I've given quilts to people I know, and knowing what happens with them, I would rather not know. So give them away and feel good about yourself. And walking down the street may be more wonderful than you might think. You may just hit a house that needed that right at the moment. I sort of made a joke about piling them up on a wagon and going down the street, knocking on the door, go, quilt for you, next quilt for you, kind of a thing. And then somebody else said, get a booth at a craft fair, then sell stuff for cash to cover the booth. If you see someone admiring something, give it to them. Yeah, well, first of all, these booths at these craft fairs cost a lot of money, for one thing, so you got to cover your thing. And because principally I can see it with maybe things like a bunch of table runners, placemats, napkins, stuff like that. But quilts?
Yeah, but you know, we don't want to do that sort of thing.
I'm not getting into the business of it. I've said that before. And plus, they're not going to pay, you know, like, you're not going to give them you're not going to sell a quilt for $20. You know, that's not happening. So, you know, people aren't going to have that kind of thing. But anyways, thanks for the suggestions on all these things. Just before we go, someone did suggest to me that I contact Glenn and Friends Cooking. Glenn and Friends is a guy that lives in a town 2 towns over from us. He has a station, YouTube channel. He's had it for a long time, called Cooking with Glenn and Friends. And I watch it all the time. Well, someone suggested, because he has another channel. He's a pilot. He has a small airplane, and he does a channel about that. And he does some charity work for a group called Hope Air. And basically what I gathered that this group does is, these pilots, there's all kinds of them, they volunteer their planes and their time, and they fly people who need extreme hospital care from way up north, in northern parts of Canada, and they fly them to whatever facility they need to be at, free of charge for them. And this person suggested that maybe I contact Glenn and say, you know, like in the airplane, it's probably cool in there, you know, and these people probably, you know, are more susceptible to that and might bring them some comfort. And I thought, well, that's not a bad idea. So I contacted Glenn, and I found his email address, and I said, you know, this is what I do, and, you know, I'd be happy to do this kind of thing. I didn't expect to hear back from him anytime, like, real soon. Within half an hour, I got a message back from him. Yes, that's a great thing. And now we suddenly got people on this, and I have a conference call tomorrow, or on Tuesday, about the whole thing, and they're talking about auctioning off one of my quilts to make money for the organization. So, okay, that's fine by me. Whatever. Glenn is also a videographer, that's his profession, and he's talking now of doing a video of me working on a quilt and all this stuff and whatnot. Okay, that's not what I was really expecting. I just thought, here, have a quilt, you know, kind of a thing. So I picked out the quilt that I think would be suitable for auction, And, well, I'll let you know what happens after we have the video conference on Tuesday with all of that. So, yeah, that was an avenue I never would have thought of. So, yeah. So you see, I pay attention to your suggestions. Don't on them all, but I do pay attention to them. Okay, so it's time to go. So let's just see here. Robert says I'm in an LDS. I always saw that. Andy says I'm so lucky to have my sister Jeannie, who gives me a quilt every year for Christmas. Every year's the first gift I open. Yes, I know you're spoiled, Andy, because Jeannie makes beautiful quilts as well. Colleen says that's fantastic news about Glennon Company connection. Fabulous. Yeah, we'll see what comes from that. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good what's left of the day weekend, and those of you that might be into Monday already, like i.e. Philippa in Australia, have a good work week with that, and enjoy, for you Canadians, tomorrow's holiday for National Reconciliation Day, and we'll see everybody during the week and on So Chatty and our next Sunday. So have a good one, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye for now.